What's up, guys? We are back with another Gundam Universe review, taking a look at arguably the most anticipated figure in this third wave of Gundam Universe. We have got the EZ-8 from Gundam 8th MS Team, one of my favorite series. I can go back and watch it pretty much any day and not get tired of it. And this is at least a pretty unique suit. It's different. It's certainly not anything like the other two that are in this wave or anything else that we've really gotten because of just how big and beefy this guy is. So I'm really excited to take a look at this one because I like the suit and I love the show. So it's, you know, kind of a 1-2 punch there. We've got this guy here in the standard packaging for the Universe line. So you've got the figure there in the kind of small window that has a bunch of artwork on the front. You've got kind of a schematic drawing. You've got some artwork that looks like it jumped right out of the show. And then we've got product shots on one side, and then the back of the package has more product shots and kind of a display of how he works and some of the stuff he comes with. So let's do it. Let's pull him out and take a look. And here it is out of the package, our EZ-8, our RX-79G EZ-8, if you want to be real specific about it. And this guy was provided for the purposes of review by Bluefin, and I think we've got a pretty cool figure here. There is maybe a little bit to discuss when it comes to articulation, because we do have a few hindrances on this guy that I was kind of surprised about. But when it comes to the looks, I think they got it down pretty well. I mean, this very much just makes me think of 8th MS Team. So I'm kind of right there when it comes to the visual. So let's take a look, see what this guy can do, see how he moves around, all that good stuff, and just see what he's got going on. So there are a few things about this particular figure that will definitely need a little discussion because he does move kind of weird. Honestly, the only real word is kind of clunky in some ways. So you've got a head that really doesn't do a whole lot. He can look up slightly, but he can't really look down, although I suppose he is looking slightly down there. It's not a lot. And what's interesting is that the neck is actually independently articulated inside there, but it really doesn't do much. You've got a little bit, but not much tilt, and then you've got full rotation there. Arms go out at the shoulders. They do rotate all the way around, of course. You've got your bicep swivel. It is a kind of squeaky joint for me, but that's fine. And you've got your double jointed elbows. Those are really good. Still fantastic range. They always seem to do pretty good there. We've got our ball peg at the wrist, which affords pretty good range of motion. Nothing really getting in the way on this guy. It all comes down to what's in the way, and there's nothing here. So you can go out, in, up, and down, rotate all the way around. As far as the torso, this is definitely my area of concern, I suppose, because he is just really locked down. You can go backwards a little bit and you can go forwards. That's really it. And he can tilt side to side, but he can't rotate very much. That's really as far as he goes. Just a little bit. It's just really, really minor because he does have a lot of these plates on here, these areas at the hip, the bottom of the hip, I suppose, or no, the top of the hip rather. They just get in the way, and you can sort of get it at times to go over those plates, but even then he just sort of stops right there. So it doesn't really afford a great range of motion. You can still get him into a running pose or a walking pose with relative ease, but at the same time, he just doesn't have a great deal of abdominal movement. The legs go pretty far out. That's almost all the way. I mean, you can get him close to splits. There is a full thigh cut up there. Of course, the plates on the skirt piece do move to help aid with that. He kicks forward basically all the way. He goes backwards a little bit. The knees go back pretty far. The ankles on this guy, though, are really crazy. So you've got a ball peg that's up here at the top of the ankle, I suppose, and it allows him to kick side to side all the way. So it's actually rocking at the top of the ankle, but then he's got a rocker at the bottom of the ankle as well, the top of the foot. So you can rotate up inside there. You can also move it forward, backward, and side to side, and then you can rock and you know, sort of hinge forward. So he's got really good range of motion at the ankle, more than I was expecting. He does not have the greatest kick back, but that's mostly because of the design here. But there is a lot of range of motion just because of the fact that there are two joints when it comes to the ankle. So he does move well enough, but there are two areas that definitely have a lot of hindrance compared to the rest of the figure. The head, the neck area, and then of course the ab crunch area. You can do a little bit. He can move enough to get him into some decent poses, but you kind of want just a little bit more there. Aesthetically speaking, though, I think they've got this guy down pretty well. Now, that does come with kind of, it's not really a caveat, it's just more of a thing for me. Because when I think of this suit, I always think of it being really beat up and really damaged and just covered in gunk and just riddled with bullet holes, because that's kind of the iconic look for this suit. At least it is for me. It's where I go to when I think of this. And again, just like with every other figure in this line, these are kind of like factory fresh. So this is what it looks like, you know, if it were to roll off the assembly line. Granted, that's not really what this suit did, because it was, you know, an amalgamation of parts from a ground Gundam to build up another suit. But I do think it looks really good. It's not a knock on the figure. It's just more of an explanation, I suppose, of what it is based on what I think of when I think of this figure. There is not a great deal of paint on this guy either, which is pretty par for the course when it comes to this line, because it is very model kit-ish as far as construction. So it's mostly just molded plastic, but it looks fine because, of course, it's a mobile suit, so it's a giant mech. And I think he looks really good. He's got a lot of bulk to him. Not like overly bulky, but he definitely looks a little beefier. He certainly looks like he's got a little bit more armor on him, more than just your standard Gundam. You've, of course, got the logo here on the chest, which is tampoed pretty well. The overall suit design looks really good as far as all of the kind of hard points that are all over it and the line work. The teal blue color that's inside the chest and on the feet is really striking. It's really deep and saturated, especially in comparison to the kind of sandy, it's almost an off-white eggshelly, that's not eggshell, but off-white tan cream sort of color. And then you've got the gray accents all through the figure in terms of the joints, and then little, you know, the cockpit there, as well as the hands, and of course the joints in the knees. The head sculpt is really nicely done. The antenna is very much a big focus for this figure because it is kind of large. You've got the red on the sight on the top, and then on the beard of the Gundam, I suppose, and then you've got those red eyes, which look really good. It's very striking, especially in comparison to the rest of the figure. Sculpt is really well done. Sizing is nice. It's not too big, it's not too small. And then you've also got the backpack on him. This is a separate piece. I guess it's technically an accessory, but I mean, really, are you ever going to keep it off of him, especially with that big hole back there? Probably not. So you've got the big gray backpack with the two thrusters on it, and it does look really good as well. It adds a little bit of bulk to the figure, makes him look a little bit more menacing, gives him just a little bit more oomph when it comes to the overall design and presence for this guy. So I think he looks really good. I think they nailed it quite well, despite the fact that he doesn't have a ton of paint on him. I think the colors come through really well, and it very much looks like the suit, just, again, a really clean version. Now, as far as accessories goes, this guy has a decent amount. I mean, he basically has all the stuff that he truly needs. To start with, we've got a set of extra hands, so he's got fists on him in the box, and then you've got a right hand with a trigger finger, and you've got a left hand that is a gripping hand. So, of course, you can use this for the weapons that he comes with. And for those, we've got his machine gun. So this guy, it's interesting because it does have like a folding capacity, but the actual accessory here does not do anything. So it's just black plastic with actually a separate piece. This isn't even painted; it's just a separate piece to match the armor on the suit. So we can hold this in either hand, but of course it's truly meant for the trigger finger hand. I kind of wish that this folded back, but I'm not going to be too upset about it. It still would have been nice. We've got the port for a Tamashii stand, so you can pop this onto his robo crotch. We've got two beam sabers, and so you've got the hilts here. These are just done up in, again, the same kind of color that the suit is. He stores these in his legs, and as far as I can tell, there is no way for these to actually be stored on the suit. Not really a big deal for me. I tend to lose stuff like that, but at the same time, would have been cool, but again, you know, it can go right back in the box. And you've got blades for these, so you've got two of the kind of opaque blades. So that's kind of one of the characteristics for this line, is that you don't get translucent blades. We get the kind of metallic-y painted ones. So these are white with paint all over them. So I do like those. They stand out from, you know, model kits and robot spirits and stuff like that. And then we've got my favorite accessory that he comes with is the shield, just because it's so unique. There is a decent amount of paint on it as well. So you've got a clip on the backside. It can peg onto either forearm. So he's got the holes on his forearms here, and then you've got the kind of blue teeth on the end, and then you've got the EZ-8 logo emblazoned on there, which is tampoed really nicely again. So he does have a decent amount of stuff, you know, in comparison to, say, the Wing Zero that I reviewed previously. He has a lot more stuff just because he doesn't have a humongous set of folding wings, and he comes with just about everything you need. So you've got the gun, the beam sabers, the shield, the backpack if you want to consider it an accessory, because of course you do have to attach it. But he has all of his normal stuff that this suit would need. So overall, I think this guy is pretty good. My only true gripes really are articulation based. I wish he had a little bit better range at the head and neck and at the torso, specifically when it comes to twisting and a little bit of that crunch, because it's very, very minimal here. The rest of the figure I think is really well done. From the overall sculpt and the design and the look, what little paint is there is applied really, really well, but of course it's a mobile suit, so it doesn't necessarily need tons of paint if the molded plastics are well done, and they very much are here. Again, I like this suit, I like the design, I love the show it comes from, so I was really happy to get this figure, and I think they've got a pretty solid product on their hands. He does come with a solid array of accessories. There are, of course, other things you could give this suit, but within the confines of this line, I think they gave him a decent number of accessories, and basically everything you really need is represented. Swords, the gun, and then of course the shield and the backpack. All the major things were taken care of for this guy. So I think it's a pretty solid entry in the line overall. So that's going to do it for this look at the Gundam Universe EZ-8. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And until next time.